Today, we are discussing the evolution of music and the music business, from how music went from selling notes to selling vinyl records, cassettes, CDs, and now to streaming platforms. But before that, let's go through a quick and interesting history of how music started and how we ended up selling records instead of simply selling music. As you might guess, music began with random sounds being made by people, animals, and nature overall. Even today, you can still hear birds making rhythmic sounds in the forest, along with other animals producing tones and patterns that almost sound like a song. But human beings are innovators by nature. Over time, music began to be made intentionally, starting with rhythmic hand claps and whistles, then adding vocals, and later, musical instruments. Then boom, it was named music. In the earliest days, music was performed as a hobby during daily life. People sang and played while walking, hunting, farming, worshipping, and celebrating as communities. Everyone participated in making the music. There were no singers and listeners in the way we think of them now. Music wasn't a talent-based industry. It was a shared cultural activity for everyone. That changed with the invention of music sheets around 1473. This development came because music had to be formalized for use in royal courts and churches, which meant it could now be preserved, taught, and sold through printed books. And that, in essence, was the start of the music business. Now let's take a look at how the business evolved from selling music note sheets to the digital streaming era. The music business, by the way, still keeps many of the principles and structures that existed from the beginning. Back when those books were sold, there were writers, also known as composers, who created the lyrics and musical notation. There was the publisher, responsible for duplicating the books, the distributor, who placed them in stores, and finally, the stores themselves, where consumers bought them. On the performance side, the people who purchased the sheet music would perform it themselves in churches, at weddings, and at other social gatherings. To show how this system is still alive today, the writers of lyrics now are still credited as songwriters and are paid to assist artists in the studio, or the performing artist themselves is credited if they write their own material. The composer of the old music sheets is now the beatmaker or arranger. The choir conductor of the past is now the modern producer. The performing artist remains the singer or rapper. Publishers are now record labels and independent music publishing companies. Distributors are companies like DistroKid, TuneCore, and CD Baby. The stores that once sold sheet music are now digital platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, and others. But we didn't just jump to this digital era of music. We went through many phases of the music business and many different modes of consumption, which makes this industry one of the most rapidly evolving in history. The selling of music sheets was the beginning of the music business. But through Thomas Edison, the birth of the mighty record business emerged, introducing another type of royalty called the master recording. When Thomas Edison invented the phonograph in the late 1800s, music could now be consumed by playing a recording repeatedly instead of requiring someone to perform it live every time. The phonograph technology was refined with the invention of phonograph parlors, where people could go to listen to recorded music. However, there was one problem. Songs were recorded directly onto individual phonographs, so each device had its own music. If you wanted to hear different songs, you had to own multiple phonographs. The solution came in the 1930s with vinyl records. Vinyl was what truly made recorded music popular and holds a legendary status in music history. Vinyl records dominated the business for decades and brought in serious money for the industry until the next major invention, the cassette tape by Philips, in the 1960s. What made cassettes more popular than vinyl was their portability and ease of storage. They could be played on multiple types of devices: FM radio cassette players, Walkmans, car stereos, and home systems, unlike vinyl, which required a dedicated turntable. This made music far more accessible to everyday consumers. The next major leap was the compact disc, CD, in the 1980s. The CD completely changed the industry by allowing for higher quality sound, easier mass production, and greater durability compared to tapes or vinyl. Record labels could produce millions of copies quickly and distribute them worldwide. Around this time, The MP3 format also began to emerge, a digital file type that revolutionized music forever. CDs even started including motion pictures, giving rise to the modern music video experience. But there was another game-changing moment in the 1980s, the launch of MTV in 1981. For the first time, music videos were not just a bonus feature, they became a central marketing tool. Artists like Michael Jackson, Madonna, and Prince became global superstars. Partly because MTV turned songs into visual experiences, music was now not only heard but also seen, and this transformed how labels marketed their artists. The MP3 meant people could now listen to music on their computers without needing a CD or any other physical medium. This era brought the MP3 player, with the Apple iPod becoming the most iconic device of its time. But this also led to the late 1990s disruption caused by Napster, a peer-to-peer file-sharing platform that allowed millions to download music for free. Napster shook the entire industry, caused massive lawsuits, and forced record labels to rethink their business models. While the industry saw it as piracy, it also proved that fans were ready for a world where music could be instantly shared across the globe. In 2003, Apple launched the iTunes Music Store, meaning the record business was no longer focused solely on physical products. Now it could sell songs in a purely digital format, track by track. This made single-song purchases more popular than full albums for the first time in decades. In 2005, Pandora launched the first widely recognized digital streaming platform, paving the way for subscription-based, on-demand music consumption. That same year, YouTube was founded, and within months, it became the new MTV. Suddenly, artists could upload their music videos without needing a label's TV connections. Viral moments like Soulja Boy's Crank That in 2007 proved that a bedroom artist could conquer the charts with nothing but an internet connection. In 2006, Spotify was founded and officially launched to the public in 2008, forever transforming the way we listen to music. From the 2010s onwards, streaming platforms became the dominant format. Apple Music entered in 2015, Amazon Music followed, and other regional services like Boomplay in Africa and Angami in the Middle East grew rapidly. Social media also became a major part of music marketing, with Facebook, Instagram, and later TikTok giving artists direct ways to promote their music. In the late 2010s and early 2020s, TikTok in particular reshaped the industry by turning short video clips into viral marketing tools for songs. Entire careers were launched from TikTok trends, and old songs found new life decades after their release. Independent artists also began bypassing traditional labels, using distributors like TuneCore, DistroKid, and SoundOn to get their music onto streaming services worldwide. By the mid-2020s, artificial intelligence entered the conversation. From AI-assisted songwriting and beat creation to AI voice replication, this sparked debates about copyright, authenticity, and the future of creativity. At the same time, live streaming concerts in virtual reality and on platforms like Twitch became common, especially after the pandemic. In 2020, accelerated digital performance adoption. Now in 2025, streaming still leads music consumption, but new models are emerging, including blockchain-based royalty systems, NFT-backed music releases, and direct-to-fan platforms where artists can sell exclusive tracks and experiences. Artists today can go from recording in their bedroom to reaching millions globally within hours. Something unimaginable a century ago. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave your comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. Thank you.